Now, as a reminder on two-way tables, there's two types of questions I'm going to ask. The how many type of questions. Let me highlight that I can ask how many type of questions. That's actually a number. Or I can ask what is the probability type of questions. The answer should be a fraction in reduced form. So it should be reduced if possible. First thing I'm going to do before I even read which question I'm being asked for, I'm gonna look at the table here and I'm going to complete it. I could look at a row. Rows go this way. I could look at a row or I can look at a column. Columns go this way. So horizontals are row, verticals are column. Now I'm gonna look for either a row or a column where I'm only missing one value. So an example, I can look at the row of boys. I know the total should be 54. So that means if I add these smaller values, this should add up to 54. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go 54, which is the whole total, minus 14 and minus 15. So I start with the total and I subtract the other numbers given, and that my number that I get is 25. So this number right here is 25. If you add the three small numbers, 15 plus 25 plus 14, it should add up to 54. Total basically means how much do all the numbers, all the small numbers add up to. Now, I cannot look at this row of girls because I'm missing two values. Again, look at a row or a column where you're only missing one value. So I can look at this column. The total is 37. One number is 15, so 37 minus 15 is 22. Okay, I have that now. I could look at this column here. 25 plus 8 is 33. So I have a 33 for the total here at the bottom. I could look at this other row here. 14 plus 16, this is a column. 14 plus 16 is 30. I could look at this row of girls now. 22 plus 8 plus 16 is 46. And a way I can check my work is I look at this column. 54 plus 46 has to equal to 100. Yeah, that's good. I also check at this row. 37 plus 33 plus 30 is equal to 100. Okay, that works. So I have all my information correct. Now I read the question. So there's a two-way table that gives some information about 100 children that travel to school one day. How many girls walk to school? So I see girls, I see walk, and they meet at 22. So there's 22 girls that walk. Again, the how many type of questions, my answer is a one number. Now for question 14, let me just copy the same table that I have. So 22, 25, 33, 30, and 46. Now here it is. So the two-way table gives some information about 100 children travel to school one day. What is the probability that a student goes to school in a car? So a student goes to school in a car. Now, because I said a student, I'm including boys and girls. So first of all, I see how many students go to school in a car. And I'm going to say 33. Right? There's 25 boys and there's 8 girls. So there's 33 students that go in a car. How many students are there total? In this case, I'm going to say 100. If I can simplify my fraction, what I mean with simplify is something like 6 over 8, I will call it 3 over 4. Right? I will divide each number by 2, right? Simplify fractions, we know what that means. Now, 33 over 100, nothing I can do. So just 33 over 100. Then we talk about permutations when order does matter. 7 permutation 3 is basically 7 factorial over 4 factorial. The 7 is basically my first number, and the 4 because I subtracted those two values. Then we also talk about what factorial meant. I'm gonna do 7 stopping at 4. So 7 factorial, 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. I have a 4 factorial at the bottom, so I want them to cancel out. So I'm just gonna be looking at 7 times 6 times 5. That happens to be 210. Now here, number 16, find the number of possibilities in each scenario. Jose and Catherine are planning trips to 2 countries this year. So they want to go to 2 countries. There are 13 countries they would like to visit. One trip will be 1 week long and the other 2 weeks. So there's 13 countries they can choose, but they're only going to go to 2. Order does matter because on one of them, they're going to spend 1 week. On the first country, they're going to spend 1 week. And on the second one, they're going to spend 2 weeks. So order matters because they're going to spend different times of times. So 13th permutation 2. Okay, so I'm going to do 13 factorial over 11 factorial. Right, the 11 because I subtracted 13 minus 2. So now 13 factorial means 13 times 12 times 11 factorial. I have an 11 factorial, so they cancel out. All right, I'm not going to write 11 times 10 times 9 all the way to 1. I can just cancel this out. Now I have 13 times 12, which is equal to 156. Then we also talk about combination when order does not matter. 17 choose 5, so I'm going to do 17 factorial over 12 factorial. The 12 because I subtracted 17 minus 5, but at the bottom I'm also going to include 5 factorial. All right, the big factorial is 12, right? So my 17, I'm going to stop at 12. So I have 17 times 16 times 15 times 14 times 13 times 12 factorial. I stop at 12 factorial because I have a 12 factorial, so that way they cancel out. I'm not going to write 12 times 11 times 10 all the way to 1. So I know that 12 factorial cancel out, but I still have a 5 factorial at the bottom. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Let me figure the number at the bottom first. So 5 factorial. 5 factorial is 120. Except I'm going to start at the bottom. So 5 factorial. Now let me figure the number on the top. 17 times 16 times 15 times 14 times 13. And that is 742,560 divided by 120, and my answer gives me 6,188. Nice. Now looking at question number 18. Anjali and Asanji are planning trips to 4 countries this year. There are 7 countries they would like to visit. They are deciding which countries to skip. So they're going to go to 7. There's 7 countries, but they're going to go to 4. It doesn't say how long they're going to spend on each country, so the order does not matter. So I'm going to say choosing out of 7 countries, they're going to choose 4, right? They're going to visit 4. So this gives me 7 factorial over 3 factorial, and then there's a 4 factorial at the bottom. The biggest factorial is 4. So it means on the top, I'm going to stop at the 4. So 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial, because there's a 4 factorial at the bottom and they cancel out. At the bottom, I still have 3 times 2 times 1. So at the bottom, 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. On the top, 7 times 6 times 5, that's 210. 210 divided by 6 is equal to 35.